So we just wait a couple of minutes or about 30 seconds or so here, Vanessa, before everybody logs in, and then we'll get started.
Absolutely. Are you all shoveled out?
Yeah, it was a lot of snow. We haven't seen that much snow for a while.
Yeah, a lot of snow.
Ian Shepherd. Hello, Ian.
Hi, Ian.
Okay, I think we have a few more just chiming in.
Perfect.
Make sure we've got registration. Okay, let's get started. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Business Support Series webinar. We have added a live closed captioning service to help improve your accessibility. So there should be a live transcript button along the bottom of your toolbar if you wish to use it in case you are, you have your speaker's not working or whatnot. So you can use that button now. Thanks everyone for joining us. My name is Patty Dow. I'm the Member Services Specialist here at the Chamber and your host for this morning. I've spent most of my career working for nonprofits and or businesses who support nonprofits. And when they work together, they really do make an impact. And that's what we're talking about here today. Giving back to the community is not only good for humanity, it's good for business. Our guest here will walk us through some easy ways to integrate philanthropy into your organization. Thanks to everyone who submitted questions for our presenter. When we get to the Q&A at the end, feel free to type more questions into the chat box or into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Our presenter and guest speaker this morning is Vanessa Burns, founder and Chief Good Officer of Vanessa Burns Consulting Group. Her superpower is helping nonprofits and for-profit businesses discover their philanthropy edge. Working as a fundraising and sales professional for over 20 years, she doesn't look that old, has shown her the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to building strong referral networks, writing winning grant proposals, strategically asking for and donating money, and effectively closing a sale. Vanessa comes with a ton of experience and some great stories to share. Welcome, Vanessa. Thank you all for joining us. I turn it over to you.
Thanks so much, Patty. I hope everyone's shoveled out from the storm yesterday. And thanks so much for taking time out of your day to join me today to talk about doing good is good for business. And we're going to talk about simple ways to integrate philanthropy into your organization. So first of all, I want to get to know a little bit about you, the audience. And I can't do my slides for some reason. There we go. So first of all, I'd like to understand a little bit more about who's in the audience today. So very quickly in the chat box, if I could have the audience sort of give me an idea of how many of you are currently supporting not-for-profit or charitable organizations in your business. Feel free to use the chat. Kind of want to get an idea of who's out there since I can't see your lovely faces on the screen. Let me know if you're currently supporting a not-for-profit or charitable organization in your current business. And I say, feel free to use the chat box. A little bit about myself after I kind of get to know you is I started my own business this year, Vanessa Burns Consulting, after spending well over 20 years in the not-for-profit and for-profit sectors, both as an employee and a volunteer. And I recently launched my business to help share the wealth, share the knowledge that I learned over the last number of years to help people grow in their philanthropic efforts. That's the boring stuff. So let's find out the good stuff, the fun stuff about myself. As you can see on the screen, I'm a little bit of an adventure seeker. I'm a rock climber, mountain climber. As you can see on the left-hand side, I scaled 9,000 foot peak in Italy a couple of summers ago. This was after overcoming fear of heights. So for all those that are saying you can't climb because of heights, yes, you can. The middle photo is another climbing photo of me on some ice. This was last winter, obviously not this winter, since we have not a lot of, well, now we have snow, but before that we didn't have a lot of ice or snow happening. So last winter, I was doing some ice climbing on an ice cliff down in Moose River in Nova Scotia. Another interesting and fun fact about myself is in 1992, I worked for the Canadian Space Agency when Chris Hadfield was chosen as one of the astronauts, and we went on a employee retreat, and I got to go fishing with astronaut Chris Hadfield. So that was kind of exciting in my youth. And I caught something really cruddy, and Chris Hadfield caught a beautiful fish. So he was a real go-getter right from the beginning. And finally, the last picture is Gord Downey from the Tragically Hip. And I always said that if I could have a conversation with someone, it would definitely be Gord. I've been a Tragically Hip fan for well over 35 years. Saw them at the Dell Sub back in 1987. You can figure out my age. And that is one person that I admire and would love to have a conversation with. So that's a little bit about myself. I throw a little bit of humor into things as well for those of you that don't know me, and I keep things pretty real and pretty light. So be prepared for some humorous things along the way. So we're all here today to talk about philanthropy and what it means to integrate philanthropy into your own businesses. But before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty of how to sort of do that on a simple scale, let's look at what philanthropy is. And I'm going to read a definition about what corporate philanthropy is. So basically, corporate philanthropy is the act of a business contribution to a nonprofit organization through donations, volunteering, sponsorships, in-kind donations, and more in order to advance the organization's mission. So philanthropy incorporates a lot of things, not only monetary donations, but as you heard, it incorporates volunteering, sponsorships, in-kind donations, and so much more. So that's the grand picture of what philanthropy means and how you can take those concepts and integrate them into your own business to do more good in the community. To kind of give you a bit of insight into philanthropy and business, I have a few statistics that you can certainly give your feedback in the chat box. I see the chat box is lighting up, and I'll take a look at that in a second. So first of all, just a few insights in how consumers view corporate philanthropy. So according to a Gavinga Corporate Philanthropy Solutions survey, 92% of consumers positively view companies if they support social or environmental causes. And 87% will purchase a product, while 42% of consumers will pay more for that product based on a company's philanthropic advocacy. Not too bad. A survey done by Edelman Young and Rubicam discovered that 70% of businesses believe doing good increases the connection with the customer. And finally, Porter Novelli discovered that 88% of employees feel working for a company with a strong purpose is more important, and 70% of consumers feel that the coronavirus pandemic will force companies to act more responsibly in the long term. And this is something we've kind of seen throughout the pandemic, is a lot more businesses want to help. A lot more businesses want to reach out in their communities. And you've seen that over the last 11 months. I mean, even though in some ways charitable giving is down, a lot more businesses are coming forward wanting to help organizations. So I'd like to kind of get some feedback on those statistics. I mean, were you surprised by them? Did anything kind of stand out for you? Did you expect to hear statistics like that? I'm just going to take a quick look at the chat box and make sure that we're not missing anything that has come through. Give me 1 second while I quickly scroll in case someone here. The other thing too, if you have any questions as we go along, please feel free to use the Q&A tab, and the questions will be saved until the end. Hi, Mark from Phoenix, talking about, yes, third-party initiatives. Great discussion going on in the chat. Thanks for using it. So basically, those were some of the statistics in terms of you know, why people integrate philanthropy into their businesses. So let's talk integration. This is why we're here. Why are we going to integrate philanthropy into our businesses? There are lots of reasons why you can integrate philanthropy into your business, and we saw a few of those, you know, in the definition of what corporate philanthropy is. I've chosen 5 reasons why philanthropy should be integrated into a business. So let's take a look at those. First of all, brand awareness. When someone partners with an organization and a charity, it increases your brand awareness and reputation as someone who's doing good in the community. And you're perceived as not just being another business. It sort of sets you a little bit apart from another business that may be in a similar type of business that you have, you know, you're kind of in similar organizations. So, you know, a lot of people will recognize your brand if you're partnering with a certain charity. Number 2, sales increase. I mean, we're all business owners. Most of us here, some of us here are business owners. Who doesn't want to increase sales? So as the survey results showed, people will spend more with brands that are supporting causes, especially in their community. So if someone is selling an item, you know, and 10 or 20 or 25% of that item is going back to a charitable organization in the community, they'd probably be more inclined to buy that particular product. And people that may not typically buy that particular product may decide to buy that product because of the organization that they're going to be supporting from their purchase. So again, that would increase the sales. You got to be careful here though, because sometimes when we partner or when organizations partner with charities, consumers can kind of see through self-serving initiatives. So it's really important to keep things genuine and to sort of have that relationship with the charity that you really want to help. You're not only partnering with an organization because of the marketing opportunity and it makes you look good. You want to do it because you want to make good. You want to make a difference in the community. So, you know, kind of be careful there that you're doing it for the right reasons. Employee engagement, as we discovered in the survey results, is another reason why people and businesses integrate philanthropy. It gets that deeper connection. So I've worked with a lot of organizations in my own experience where, you know, employees are engaged, whether it's, you know, challenging different departments to raise money for an organization, whether it's getting a group of employees out, you know, to volunteer for the day, you know, whether it's painting a building or cooking up a meal or doing some kind of a drive. It sort of brings employees together. And I know that we're working in a bit of a virtual world right now where we're not all sitting together in the offices. However, a lot of charities have become very innovative over the last 11 months and are, you know, wanting to encourage, you know, employees to kind of get back into that volunteering opportunity with them. So there are opportunities out there, you know, for employee engagement with not-for-profits. You know, it really helps to have those conversations with the organizations to see how you can engage your employees. And the other way too is through, you know, employee giving, where your employees will give so much off their paycheck to a certain charity of their choice. And that's done through either the organization or through some third-party platforms. Tax benefits. I'm not a tax accountant. I don't do my own taxes as my own business. However, there are tax benefits to supporting not-for-profit charitable organizations as a business. For example, you can get tax receipts for your donations. Sponsorships are kind of an iffy. Most sponsorships are not tax deductible. If you sponsor an event or an activity, you most likely will not get a tax receipt because you are receiving benefits with that. You're receiving exposure, you're receiving marketing, everything around that. So, but there are tax benefits to being to partnering with charities and giving donations. So that's something to look into when you're thinking about integrating philanthropy into your business. And the 5th reason, really, giving back is good for you. You get that really, really good feeling when you're giving back to others. You know, and as business owners, we have the power. We have the power to do things in our communities. We have the power, you know, to feed others, to stand up for poverty, you know, to address the homelessness issue, you know, to help youth that are at risk. We have the power as businesses to do that. And we don't have to be the Bill Gates of the business world to do these things. So that is one good thing about doing philanthropy in your business. It feels good. Who doesn't want to feel good? We want to feel good. So if you can think of any other reasons, you know, for integrating philanthropy into your business, as again, feel free to write it in the chat box and get those conversations going amongst yourselves. But again, those were the 5 reasons that I identified as sort of the top reasons why integrating philanthropy in your business, you know, should be at the top of mind. This all sounds really, really great. Are we all doing it? My guess is no. There are barriers, and I'm going to address those barriers. And within those barriers, we're going to talk about how to overcome those barriers and how to look at integrating philanthropy in a simple way within your business. Does this look familiar to anybody out there? This, I won't admit it, but I have had some desks that have looked not as bad as this, but kind of close. As business owners, and I've seen this with organizations that I've worked with, both from a for-profit perspective, you know, and even not-for-profit, but when it comes to requests, businesses are inundated with requests. And that's one of the reasons people find it difficult to integrate philanthropy in their businesses. They get too many requests. It's really overwhelming who you should be supporting, what charities, you know, need your support. I mean, you're getting all these requests day in and day out. How do you choose? I mean, they're all great stories. You know, it's really difficult. Here are some things that I recommend to look at so you don't kind of get this overwhelmed looking desk. First of all, as when I worked for charitable organizations, it was always really great to go to an organization's website and they would clearly list what their giving policy is, what sort of causes they support. So you can develop a policy for giving for your business. So if you're personally passionate about, you know, mental health initiatives, poverty, you know, solving poverty, you know, helping poverty, the homeless, you know, anything along those lines, health initiatives, that's part of your policy. So you can say, and I know that organizations on a larger scale, such as, you know, Bell and excuse me, and, you know, Blue Cross, they will specifically say, you know, we support mental health initiatives. So if you want to kind of avoid getting all that paper, come up with a policy, develop a policy, make it visible on your website. It's really key to find the charities that are the right fit for your organization. And this really boils down to what you care and what your employees care about. I'll get into that a little bit further along in the presentation. So number one, in order to avoid getting all these requests, unsolicited requests, is develop a policy. Keep it simple. It doesn't have to be pages and pages long, but really think about who you want to support and why, and put it up on the website. Make it easy, because as someone who's worked in charities, I would really appreciate to see that on more organizations' websites. This is something we've always do. Yeah, this all sounds great. I'm a small business owner. I'm a one-person shop. I don't have time to be thinking about integrating more into my business when I'm trying to, you know, keep my own business afloat. Again, it doesn't have to be complicated. Integrate it into the core of your business. Simple as that. It doesn't have to be doing things every day, all the time. You know, keep it simple. I'm going to show a couple of examples of organizations that can help you, or one organization, what they're doing in terms of their philanthropic efforts. And the second example will be an organization that is keeping it easy for businesses to integrate philanthropy. So I've been following Maritime Tartan Company on Twitter for the last little while. And this is a very small, one-person, two-person, home-based business who is making masks, who was doing clothing and switched to making masks. And Sherry is the owner of this company, and I've been following her on Twitter. And what she has done is she has donated over $20,000 in donations for 2020 to various organizations in the community. And this is a one-person organization, one-person business. And the way she does it is most of her things are percentage of sales off masks. So you can see that she's got a promotion going on right now. 25% of all mask sales is being donated to Out of the Cold shelter. I like this because she has the Out of the Cold, you know, the logo on there. It's very clear as to what the dates of the promotion are. It's very clear on what the percentage of the mask sales are, where it's going. It's easy, and she does it out of the goodness of her heart. And I would recommend, you know, following Maritime Tartan Company on Twitter to kind of get some ideas if you're a smaller organization, how you can actually support charities. And Sherry has supported a lot of different charities under, you know, through her mask sales. And so I thought this was a really kind of a feel-good story, and one I want to share with you today to talk about how it doesn't have to be, you know, complicated. The other one, and this is a little thing that is happening actually, you know, with the Chamber of Commerce. What Unity Value Foundation has done is they've taken all the charities that are members of the Halifax Chamber of Commerce and made a platform. So as a business, you can go on this platform and scroll through all the charitable members of the Chamber of Commerce and pick out charities that you would like to support. And if you go on this particular website, you'll see at the top, believe it's Shelter Nova Scotia had a campaign, and you can kind of, you know, go through the different campaigns that are on there. I think Shelter's on there, Easter Seals. There's a lot of organizations on there. So if you're not sure who to support, this is a great place to start. A lot of charities are listed. The Chamber of Commerce has a lot of not-for-profit members. So I really like this. And the other thing that that Unity is starting to do as well is they're coming up with programs where you can have a loyalty program in your business, but the loyalty points that people collect can be translated into charitable donation dollars. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a program that's going to be coming out. So that's pretty exciting. So again, this keeps it easy. The work is actually, you know, done for you. Unity Values will actually give you, you know, a page to share, you know, with your own customer to show who you're supporting, you know, from the list of these charities. So, you know, it's worth taking a look. Again, it's something that's simple, that's done for you. And yeah, again, keeping it simple. That's the key. We all love Burger Week. And the reason why is our hamburger on here? The reason I put this up here was, this is what I call strength in numbers. So you may be one business, but Burger Week is actually a collection of restaurants that are all participating in what we call Burger Week, and a percentage of their sales from burgers at their restaurants are going to Feed Nova Scotia. So it's a collective way for organizations to support charities. And you can see that $126,000 was raised. That's a lot of burgers. We're really big burger fans out there. So that's great. So I mean, if you think about, you know, if you're a coffee shop, you could, you know, partner with other coffee shops and cafes in the area and do some kind of promotion as a collective organization, you know, and give back to charity that way as well. So, you know, again, keeping it simple and keeping it fun too. I mean, Burger Week is really popular. I mean, you may not even know, I mean, to be honest, a lot of people don't even know who maybe the proceeds are going to, but they love burgers. So again, keeping it simple and keeping it fun. And again, it doesn't have to be monetary donations either to make that impact in the community. Food drives, we've seen a lot of food drives happen the last number of months. You know, those are all helping the community. They're all helping individuals. You know, they're helping organizations actually with their own bottom line. Volunteering, that's another way for you to be involved with an organization. You know, find some time. We all said, you know, not enough time, but if you really want to do something, you'll find the time. Is, you know, volunteer with an organization, see how you can help, whether it's, you know, maybe making thank you calls to their donors for a donation. You know, do they need help, you know, picking up items in the community? You know, how can you volunteer with organizations? And the other thing that I find interesting is, you know, rounding up. So if you're a business and you sell products, you can ask at the till, and you might have heard this at some stores when you go in. So if I buy an item for $5.75 and they say, oh, do you want to round up your purchase? We're supporting, you know, XYZ charity. Okay, sure, that's it's 25 cents. But if you have a lot of customers coming in over the course of the day, you know, it adds up. And there's a charity that does this, Souls Harbor Rescue Mission does this at their Mission Mart. If you go to Mission Mart and you make a purchase, they will say to you, do you want to round up your purchase to help Souls Harbor? And of course, you're going to say yes. And they've made a lot of money. So as a customer, I can go into the store and I can round up my purchase, and, you know, the business can help the charity, and I can also help the organization as well. So again, doesn't always have to be monetary donations. You know, keep it simple, do what works for you. And that's one of some, you know, easy ways to integrate philanthropy into your business. I hear this a lot from organization, is they don't know even how to start to work with a charity. They're not even sure how to find the charities that they want to work with. They really don't know where to start. So really, at the end of the day, it's like anything in business, success depends on building relationships with the charity. Some people want to help everybody, and that's okay. If you're an organization and a business that wants to help, you know, everyone in your community with, you know, smaller donations, that's great. If that works for you, that's fantastic. However, what I find is to really build that relationship with an organization is partner with the charity, you know, for a certain time period. So that, in my opinion, and I've seen this, you know, working with organizations over the years and working, you know, with businesses over the years, is when you have a business that actually partners with you for you know, a few months or a year or over the years, is you really get to see that impact. You really get to see how the dollars and how your donations are making that impact. You're building trust with the organization. And on the other side too, I mean, if you're actually a partner with the charity will most likely in return, you know, tag you on their social media posts, you know, do some promotion for you as well. So at the end of the day, by having that partnership, it is a win-win situation for both organizations. So how do you find the best fit, and how do you find, you know, that good fit with the charities that you would like to support? First of all, you know, list your interests. What are your interests? What are your passion as a business owner? You know, as I said before, there are so many, you know, charities out there all doing fantastic work. I mean, I've worked for a number in my career. I know of, you know, others that are, you know, that are working in phenomenal organizations in this community. List what interests you. So is it, you know, is it working, you know, is it helping people with food security? Is it some things to do with youth, with children? Is it healthcare? What are your interests? You know, write them down, list those interests, and then do some preliminary research. You know, as again, go to that list on the chamber webpage. You know, find those that look like a possible fit. I mean, you can also do a search through CRA. I mean, there's platforms like that are called Canada Helps, you know, where charities are listed as well. You can kind of go through and find ones that, you know, look of interest. Ask around in your community, ask other business owners, ask, you know, family and friends, you know, who they support as organizations. So kind of get some ideas of organizations that will fit with your own values. And there's so many organizations here. And I mean, my personal passion really are the smaller grassroots organizations. And I said, I mean, everyone does great work. However, there are so many smaller organizations that really could use the support of the business community. So as I say, don't be afraid to look outside the charity comfort zone. You know, sort of see what else, you know, look at those smaller organizations where sometimes the impact you're making, you know, maybe you think it's a small impact, but it may be a large impact for them. So, you know, keep your options open, you know, look around at all the different size organizations and look at their websites. You know, a lot of charities now are on social media. You know, you can check out actually their CRA returns online through the CRA website. I mean, there's a lot of information out there. And then you can, you know, narrow down your choices. And this is the biggest thing, is contact the charity. We love to talk to people as fundraisers. I mean, I did it for years. I mean, we are a very social bunch. We love having conversations. We want to, you know, partner with our communities, but we can't do that unless, you know, we hear from you, you know, businesses hear from you. So, or charities hear from you. So now, you know, reach out and have those conversations. pick up the phone, make a call to one of the charities you're looking at, and ask them about, their work and, what they need and all those things. So many organizations and businesses don't do that. They have a fundraiser and then they mail them the check, and, someone who's working a charity, you get this check, and half the time you don't know who it's coming from because it just says, in the memo box, it says number 85035, and you're going, well, what's that? And there's no letter with it. You can't get in contact with anybody. And, as someone who's from a charitable organization, it's a little frustrating because we love to thank, and we love to recognize people for supporting organizations. However, if you're mailing in a donation check and don't have enough information for us to contact you, it's hard for us to even send, a charity to even send a thank you. So contact the charity. It's a missed opportunity. And from a charitable perspective, one of the things that I guess really irked me when I was working as a fundraiser was, seeing people having fundraisers, for the organization I was working for, and they're using the wrong logos, and the name of our organization is incorrect. That is our brand. That is a charity's brand, just as much as it's, a business brand. I mean, if now that I own my own business, if someone was out there using, the wrong logo for my business or calling my business by the wrong name, yeah, it's your brand, right? It's your brand awareness. So again, if you reach out to the charity and you want to do have a partnership with their organization, charities will ensure you're using the right logo. They'll share your brand standards. They'll tell you what projects need the greatest amount of assistance. They'll tell you what their future goals are. That's really, as I said, don't be afraid to pick up the phone or email and talk to charitable partners. As I said, I know a lot of fundraisers out there. I know there's a lot of them on the webinar today, and they love having conversations. So please reach out. And the other thing that I've noticed a lot that's happening, which is doing charities a little bit of a disservice from the business community, is when people say, all money raised will support local food banks. Okay, that's a little generic. Or money raised today will support cancer research, or will support our local hospitals. I know it's done in the good intention. However, it doesn't show the accountability that you're really going to donate money to specific or certain charities. So if you say to the local food banks, well, what are the food banks? I mean, from a charitable perspective, any promotion that, a charity can get for the work they're doing is a bonus. So please, when you're partnering with organizations or when you're having, fundraisers for charities, as a business, please list the charity you're supporting. So something like money raised will support Feed Nova Scotia, or all donations today will go to the IWK Foundation. So you have a sense of where the money is going, and from an accountability perspective, it goes a long way. And the other thing too, I've worked for a lot of organizations where the name of the organization was incorrect. So especially after an organization has gone through mergers, there's been a change in the name of the organization, and you're out there having a fundraiser and you're saying, all money today raised goes to the XY company. Well, now the XY charity, and now they're the XYZ charity. Well, you're basically not calling the charity by the right name. So again, having those conversations with charitable organizations about your philanthropic efforts ahead of time, I can't stress how important that is. I really can't. And that is one of the things I've seen over the course of the time I've spent working in the charitable sector is a lot of people, don't have those conversations. I think it's time that they start to happen. So if you can take anything away from this today, please call the charity ahead of time, use the right logo, use the right name, find out where they need your help. And again, I see the chat box is blinking, and I'm trying to have a look at the chat box, but it's hard to do slides and chat box and everything else at the same time. But again, if you've done some corporate philanthropy in your own business, please share who you're supporting. Give some of our charities a shout out this morning. I know there's some charitable organizations on this call and on this webinar, and shout them out, say their name, be proud of who you're supporting in the community, and the charity would really appreciate that as well. So I'm just gonna have a quick look at the chat, make sure I'm not missing anything as we're going on. Going through the chat, sorry. There's some great conversations. I'll have to look at this later. There's some great conversations going on in here. I love it. Very engaged. Love it. Oh, Sandwich Week. That sounds pretty cool. There's so much great chat going on in the chat box. I really love the engagement. Thanks. That's fantastic. Makes it a bit more interesting too. You're not just watching me sit here and talk. So I keep awake. So I've gone through a bit of information today, and I noticed that our time is getting close to the end, and we want to leave some room for some questions if there are questions out there. So really, what are the key takeaways from today about integrating philanthropy in your business? So number one, again, you don't have to be Bill Gates to make an impact in your community. You don't have to make that large donation. Small things count. Strength in numbers. So even if you're a small person, one-person business, I mean, look at the Maritime Tartan company, $20,000 in donations over the course of 2020. One-person business, and they did it, step by step, little by little. So again, I mean, if you're donating a couple of $100s to a charity, that's fantastic. That makes a huge difference as a collective, as a collective donation with all the other organizations that are donating to this particular organization. So please, it doesn't have to be big and complicated. Small things count. And again, food drives, volunteering, in-kind services, all those things, they all count towards that philanthropic effort in your business. And number two, align with the charities that share your values. So to avoid getting all those unsolicited requests, which can be frustrating for a business and which can also be frustrating from a charity because you never hear back from the business about your request, is align yourself with a charity that shares your values. Come up with those policies about, what charities you want to support. Make it visible on your website so charities can find out who you're supporting, have those conversations with charities, reach out. Make sure you're using the right logo, the right name. As I said, having a conversation is a great way to begin a relationship. And as I said before, as in with any business, when you're coming into a partnership, it's all about relationships and it's all about having those genuine conversations. And number three, corporate philanthropy really needs to be part of your overall business plan. I mean, I started my own business this year. And actually in my business plan, I have that I will give for every referred piece of business that I receive, I will make a charitable donation to the charity of choice of the person who referred the business to me. So that is part of my business plan. It is in my plan and I've done it. I've had, people refer business to me and I've donated on their behalf to the charity of their choice. So again, it's very simple. It's very simple for myself as a small business owner to do. And again, you can put in your business plan, you're going to do so much percentage off certain products, anything like that. So if you make a part of your plan, it does instill a little bit of accountability as well. So, and again, this should feel good and it should be genuine. So you may think, what, I don't have a lot of time. I'm not going to, do this. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. This should be a genuine act from you as a business, and you need to feel good doing it. So if you're not feeling good doing it, we might want to have a conversation. But you need to feel good doing the philanthropic effort in your business. And again, if you keep it simple, you will enjoy it. Trust me. So a little quote to sort of close us out for the day. And this is all about, doing good in your business. So Desmond Tutu, I really enjoy this quote because it sort of sums up exactly what we were talking about today, that it doesn't have to be a large donation. So basically, you know, do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. And it's so true. You know, as a collective force, I mean, as business owners, we have the power. And I've said this before, we have the power to change things in our community. And the more that we can get together, you know, and change those things in our community, you know, the stronger we will be. And again, collectively. So collectively, the small goods can turn into a greater good. That's basically what I have to present today. And there's my contact information. My website is actually being developed, so can't share that with you at the moment. However, feel free to reach out by email. I love having conversations. You know, if you're a business and you're not sure kind of where to start, you want to have more conversation about philanthropy and business, love talking to people. I'm on LinkedIn. I do request when you add me on LinkedIn to please send a note with your LinkedIn connection, so I know that, you know, you're on my webinar and we can kind of continue the conversation there. So that's my presentation this morning. Again, thank you so much for coming, or for logging in online. I guess we're not doing it in person anymore, so logging in online and watching me present. So thank you so much, and I enjoy having continuing the conversation afterwards as well. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. We do have quite a few questions for you, so sit tight. Here we go.
I hope I can answer them.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
I will find the answer.
There you go. There you go. So our first question from someone in the audience is there a spot where we can find good or free samples of policies that you were mentioning? Is there a Google form out there? Is there some documents?
I'm sure there is. As I said, I don't have an exact website you can go to, but I'd be happy to find that out. And if I could share it. I mean, I'm not sure who asked the question, but I can certainly.
So this is from Angela.
Angela, okay. Angela, if you want to connect with me, I'd be happy to help you with that, because I know there's lots of different templates. I mean, you don't want to keep it complicated. So yeah, feel free to reach out, and we can definitely have a conversation about that.
Awesome. Next question. Is it better to support one charity for a period of time or several charities, in your opinion and in your experience?
In my opinion and my experience, I have to say, I know we want to help everybody, but I think if you want to keep it simple and keep it impactful, you know, look at supporting a charity for a certain amount of time. So, because I think you get to build that relationship and make it a little bit stronger. That's my personal opinion. I mean, you may disagree and say, we want to support everything that comes across our desk. And that's great. Spread the wealth. Love it. You know, and sometimes, you know, when you see organizations that are supporting a lot of initiatives at the same time, that's not a bad thing. It shows that they're invested in the community as well. That really is a personal decision that you, as a business owner, would have to decide, I guess, on your own capacity. Yeah, that's kind of what I think there. Again, that's my opinion. So,
and like you said in your presentation, though, it really comes down to the organization taking the time to decide what kind of impact they want to have,
right,
and what organization aligns with their values and missions, and employees, what the employees are interested in doing. So, you know, kind of doing all of those things will help people decide.
Exactly. I mean, I've worked with charities where, you know, we've had corporate partners with us for years. I mean, you know, 10, you know, 15 years, you know, they've been with the organization, and, you know, they become part of the family. I mean, that's what I find is when you align yourself with an organization for it, as opposed to just, you know, sending in a check, if you really make that effort to align, you become part of that charity's family, and you really build that relationship. So again, it's a personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Next question we have here is from Caitlin. And is there a difference between cause marketing, because we do see that a lot, and philanthropic gifts in terms of tax receipts? Now, you mentioned you're not an accountant and you're not a tax person, but in your experience, when you worked for charities, there is a tax receipt component?
Yeah, no, normally, and I say I'm not a tax accountant, so please do not. Cost-related marketing. So that means if, how can I explain this? So
this is a tough one.
It's a tough question because, if I was going to a store and they said, do you want to make a donation to such and such? Technically, that's my money that's going towards the charity, but it's going through the store. So that's where it gets a little muddy, because I had people when I was working in charities, we were doing, third-party events with organizations, and they would have like ticket sales or raffle sales or whatever, and then they give us the proceeds from the raffle. Is that tax receivable? Well, again, it's muddy issue, because really that's not the charity's own money. It's money that was raised from other people. So I would generally say, well, I don't think that's tax receivable. And then someone else would say, oh, that is tax receivable. So yeah, it goes back and forth. How I think of it is in terms of tax receipts, and I this is what I used to do. If the donation comes from the heart of the organization, and it doesn't come with any kind of sponsorship or promotion or anything like that, you can get a tax receipt for that. And even though in the annual report it might say, thanks to thanks to our supporters, Patty Dow Patty Dow Corporation. That's not anything. That's not a sponsorship. That's primarily a thank you. So that would definitely be you could get a tax receipt for that. The cause marketing gets a little muddy, I have to say.
Yeah.
I've had lots of discussions in the organizations I've worked with about whether it's tax receivable or not. But yeah.
So here's another one for you. And you're probably experiencing this right now in your business, in the work that you're doing. What advice do you have for nonprofits that are struggling to engage with their donors? We're in the middle of a pandemic. That face-to-face, that sharing is really tough right now. So what are you seeing, and what advice would you give for the nonprofits?
I work with my clients, a lot of smaller organizations that are going through the same thing. How do they get in front of their supporters and new supporters? And it's like anything, it's showing up. It's really the donors that you have in your database. Take the time to connect. Now is a great time to pick up the phone. Not even for an ask. Have conversations. Let people know that you're out there. Let supporters that currently support you or have supported you in the past know what you're doing in the midst of all this crazy pandemic. It doesn't matter the size of your organization. I think, having worked for larger and smaller organizations, a smaller organization has as much impact as a larger organization. But the problem is they don't have the resources or the staffing. So that's where you can engage volunteers, making phone calls to your donors to say thank you for past donations. And really, and I'm going to put in as from a charitable perspective, I'm a big networker. Like, I have been out in the community working, in charities, but out networking with the business community. And I know that we're in a virtual world, and getting out there to network, with organizations and businesses, it's not as easy as it used to be. However, from a charitable perspective, if you're in the organization, get out in the community as best that you can, whether it's attending, online networking events. I know the chamber has a few coming up, that it's show up. If you don't show up, people won't know who your organization is. And if you're having problems connecting with people or finding those connections, you have to show up. And I always said to someone, you can't. This is going to sound kind of funny in a virtual world, but you can't do your job sitting behind a desk. And even though we're in a virtual world and we're all sitting behind our desks in front of a screen, you can still show up. There's ways to do it. And I could talk about that all day. So it is a challenge. And I see it with my own clients, trying to talk to people and connect, but you really have to be positive and enthusiastic and share what you're doing. And honestly, as an organization, as a charity, if you're struggling, be honest. Share your story. And that's so important. Even if you're struggling, share that story. Don't be afraid to say you're struggling. Really don't. It's genuine. It's real.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. This is real. This is happening.
This is real.
Right.
You know, we have to find ways to kind of get around this. And, you know, some organizations have really been very creative, and, you know, others, you know, we'll chat.
It's all good. So this is another question. So this is an interesting one. So you mentioned in your presentations that it should be part of your strategic plan to support some type of community organization, charity through your philanthropy. But when you're first starting out, financially, it's really tough, right? So if a business wants to engage in philanthropy stuff, what are some ways that they can do that without writing that check?
Again, the monetary donations are part of the whole philanthropic piece with the business. If you have a store, and I know I was talking to a new business owner who opened up a store, and she wanted to support a charitable organization in her own community, and she was going to do, I think, some kind of a drive. So whether it was a food drive, whether it was a school supply drive, you know, it's not. It's easy to implement in if you have like a storefront business. If you have a business like mine that's a service oriented, where I don't have a storefront, or, you know, I don't have, I guess, products per se to sell, you can do simple things like I've suggested in terms of you know, asking an organization about volunteering opportunities. This is where communicating with organizations is important, because yeah, I mean, even if you're just starting out, you can be philanthropic. It doesn't, volunteering drives. I mean, I could have a food drive. Not that they could deliver it. I mean, anybody can do that, right? I mean, don't be afraid because you're a brand new business that you can't be philanthropic in your business. You can, and again, I mean, if you do have a product and you're selling a service, you know. If you're selling a service, let's say it's $1,000 and you want to donate a portion of that, I mean, you can make that whatever portion you want it to be. If you sell $1,000 service package, you could donate $100, and that's cool. Nothing wrong. I mean, that's a choice you're going to have to make as a business. I mean, I've made the choice that I'd make a donation for all referrals. Yeah. Yes, it's money that comes out of my bottom line, but I mean, to be honest, and I think it was $25 donation I was making. I'm a new business, but I've made that decision. So, you know, even as I say, you can do things that aren't monetary. Yeah, don't be afraid, because if you're a new business, you can't be philanthropic. You definitely can.
And people's time is also very valuable. Time and expertise. Here at the Chamber, we have lots of events, right? And we love our nonprofits. And if we can, you know, use our tools such as a Zoom call, or hosting a webinar, or helping to coordinate an event, or, you know, stuffing boxes, grab some people, grab your staff, go to a soup kitchen, do things like that. Those are also very impactful for communities, right? We are one community. I will put in a shameless plug here for the Chamber. We are also hosting a session for those of you in the audience on Friday afternoon with Unity Values. So Vanessa mentioned them earlier in her presentation. This is an organization that is helping us support our nonprofits here in the community who are also Chamber members. So we are doing a session on Friday to help nonprofits understand how this project works and how you can take advantage of jumping on board and using this platform to help you raise some residual money. It's not necessarily, you know, tens of thousands of dollars, but it's residual kind of passive income. And those are great ways, again, ways that you can contribute or have companies or people contribute to your organization.
Yeah.
Last question for you. You ready?
Yes.
When's the right time to start giving back?
Oh.
You're a business owner.
I'm a business owner. I've given back from day one, but that's because of where I came from. I mean, I spent, you know, so many years in the charitable sector. And I am of that personality that I love to give back. I mean, I've done a lot of volunteering, but really the time is right when you feel it's right. I mean, you know, when you feel in your business that the time is right to start giving back, I don't think there's any hard and fast rule that says, okay, this is the right time to be doing this. Obviously, you know, now's the time. However, whatever's right for your business, you know, whatever's right for you. It's a personal decision. It's a very personal decision that you need to make when the time is right for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's pretty much all we have. I'm going to check the Q&A box if there's any other questions in here. There has been lots of discussion in the chat box, Vanessa, lots of people contributing thoughts and telling us who they are and what they're doing. In the chat box, we did post the link for the session on Friday and it's called For the Love of Nonprofits.
Ooh,
that's on Friday at 1 o'clock. We're doing another Zoom call. I want to just close with one comment here. Someone posted in the chat box, seems logical for nonprofit businesses. Nonprofits are always looking about stability. So coming back around to that conversation of, do you support one for a long time or do you spread it out? I think at the end of the day, it really comes down to what you've been saying, Vanessa. It's a personal choice. But the point and the importance of starting the conversation, right? No matter in what level of business or community or personal that you're doing, wherever you're at, it's about starting the conversation. How can we be stronger as a community and how can we help build each other up?
Love it. Everything starts with the conversation.
It does.
That's it.
Yep.
Build
Absolutely.
those relationships. Build those relationships.
So thank you so much, Vanessa.
Thank you. It was great.
And everyone who joined us today, thank you for joining us. Thursday, we are hosting the mayor and having the mayor. You're not the mayor, but Mayor Savage is our State of the Municipality event is on Thursday. Again, another webinar. Next week is a big one for us. It's the Wonder Women Conference. We're very excited. We've got some amazing female leaders that are going to be presenting and teaching us on that day. Check out the Chamber events. Always updated pretty much every day. And be sure to like us on all your social media platforms. This webinar is recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel, probably by tomorrow morning, if not by the end of the day. And that's it. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us, Vanessa. And be well.
Bye.
Bye.